Discovery in the Void. Captain Zora Keth pressed her scaled palm against the cool metal of her ship's observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before the research vessel Curiosity's edge, each point of light representing mysteries yet to be solved. As a Vorthan explorer, Zora had spent her entire adult life pushing the boundaries of known space, but today felt different. Today, they were venturing into a sector that had been marked as empty for over 2 centuries. The bridge hummed with quiet activity as her diverse crew worked at their stations. Dr. Nix Volland, their crystalline archaeologist, sat hunched over sensor readings, her transparent body refracting the blue light from her screens into rainbow patterns across the walls. Despite her delicate appearance, Nix possessed one of the sharpest minds in the galaxy when it came to ancient civilizations and lost technologies. Commander Rax Thorne stood near the tactical station, his imposing Corton frame casting long shadows across the deck. The warrior species had joined the Galactic Alliance 50 years ago, bringing their military expertise to peaceful exploration missions. Rax's 4 arms moved in constant motion, checking weapon systems even though they were on a research mission. Old habits from his people's militant past died hard. "Captain," called out Lieutenant Yila from the sensor station, her melodic Zephyrian voice carrying excitement. "I'm detecting something unusual at bearing 27 Mark IV. It's massive." Zora moved swiftly to the sensor console, her long legs carrying her across the bridge in seconds. The Vorthan captain stood nearly 7 feet tall, her blue-scaled skin glistening under the artificial lights. Her people were natural explorers, driven by an insatiable curiosity that had led them to discover 6 new star systems in the past decade alone. "Show me," Zora commanded, her yellow eyes focusing intently on the display. The main screen flickered to life, revealing long-range sensor data. What they saw defied immediate explanation. A colossal structure drifted silently through space, its angular design unlike anything in current galactic databases. The object measured over 4 kilometers in length, with a hull that seemed to absorb rather than reflect the distant starlight. Dr. Volland rose from her station, her crystalline features shifting from blue to purple, a sign of intense interest among her people. "Captain, the material's composition is extraordinary. I'm reading hull plating that appears to be some form of adaptive metal, possibly self-repairing. The energy signature is minimal, almost as if the entire structure is in some form of hibernation." Commander Thorne's gruff voice cut through the bridge chatter. "Could be a trap. Unknown vessels drifting in empty space usually mean trouble." His lower set of arms remained crossed while his upper arms gestured toward the tactical displays. "I recommend maintaining safe distance while we investigate." Zora nodded thoughtfully. Her instincts as an explorer warred with her responsibilities as captain. The desire to investigate this marvel fought against the need to protect her crew of 37 souls. After a moment of consideration, she made her decision. "Set course for the object, but maintain yellow alert. Yila, begin deep scans. I want to know everything about that ship before we get close enough to sneeze on it." As the Curiosity's edge approached the mysterious vessel, more details became visible. The ship's design spoke of a civilization that prioritized function over form, yet there was an elegant brutality to its construction. Weapon ports lined the hull like the scales of some great space-dwelling predator, while sensor arrays swept across its surface in complex patterns. "Captain," Dr. Volland announced, her voice trembling with excitement, "I'm reading biosignatures. Faint, but definitely present. Whatever this ship is, it's not completely dead." The bridge fell silent except for the steady hum of life support systems. Zora felt her heart rate increase as she processed this information. A derelict ship was one thing, but a vessel with life aboard presented entirely different challenges and opportunities. "Yila, can you identify the species? Cross-reference with all known biological databases." The young Zephyrian's fingers danced across her console, her iridescent wings fluttering nervously as she worked. After several minutes, she looked up with confusion written across her delicate features. "Captain, this is impossible. The computer has identified the biosignatures as human, but that can't be right. Humans disappeared from galactic records over 200 years ago. Most historians believe they went extinct after their homeworld was destroyed by solar flares. Commander Thorne uncrossed all four arms, his battle instincts kicking in. Humans were dangerous. The old records speak of a species that advanced too quickly, fought too fiercely. If this is really a human vessel, we should be extremely cautious. Dr. Volan's crystalline body shifted to a deep amber color, indicating deep thought. Actually, Commander, the historical records about humans are frustratingly incomplete. They appeared on the galactic stage suddenly, made contact with several species, and then vanished just as quickly. Some scholars believe they were more advanced than they let on. Zara studied the massive ship on their view screen. Something about its design stirred a memory from her academy days, a lecture about lost civilizations and their technological achievements. Bring us to within 1 kilometer and hold position. Begin broadcasting standard first contact protocols on all frequencies. For nearly an hour, they transmitted greeting messages in 17 different languages, but received no response. The great ship continued its silent drift through the void, offering no sign that it was aware of their presence. Captain, Yila reported, I'm detecting movement within the vessel. Very faint, but something is definitely active in there. Before Zara could respond, every screen on the bridge flickered. The lights dimmed momentarily, and then a voice spoke from their communication systems. The voice was distinctly artificial, yet carried undertones of something almost human in its inflection. Unknown vessel, you have approached the UES Eternal Sentinel. State your intentions. The bridge crew exchanged glances. Zara stepped forward, drawing upon her diplomatic training. This is Captain Zara Keth of the research vessel Curiosity's Edge, representing the Galactic Alliance. We detected your ship and came to investigate. We mean no harm and offer assistance if needed. A pause stretched for nearly a minute before the voice responded. Galactic Alliance. This designation is not in my databases. Please stand by while I access historical records and update my files. Dr. Voland leaned forward in her seat, her excitement evident in the rapid color shifts across her crystalline form. Captain, I believe we're speaking with an artificial intelligence. The response patterns and processing delays suggest a highly advanced AI system. Another long pause followed. Then the voice returned with what might have been surprise in its tone. My chronometer indicates that 247 standard years have passed since my last update. Captain Keth, much appears to have changed during our absence. Your absence? Zara asked carefully. Where have you been? The Eternal Sentinel and her crew have been in deep hibernation while traveling to the Andromeda Galaxy. We are currently on our return journey to what you now call Alliance space. I am the ship's AI, designated as Atlas. I speak for the crew while they remain in cryogenic suspension. Commander Thorne stepped forward, his warrior's instincts alert. How many crew members are aboard your vessel? The Eternal Sentinel carries a complement of 2,847 human personnel, currently in various stages of cryogenic sleep. We represent the advanced scout of the Greater Human Exodus Fleet. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Humans weren't extinct, they had left the galaxy entirely, and now they were returning. Zara felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. If this was just a scout ship, what did that say about the size and capabilities of the main fleet? Atlas, she said carefully, we believed humans were extinct. What happened to your homeworld? Earth was abandoned by choice, not destroyed by natural disaster as your records apparently indicate. When the solar system became unstable, humanity had already developed the technology to evacuate our entire population. Rather than compete for limited resources in this galaxy, we chose to seek our fortune elsewhere. Dr. Voland could barely contain her excitement. Captain, do you realize what this means? We're witnessing the return of an entire species thought lost to history. The technological and cultural implications are staggering. Atlas continued. I am curious about this galactic alliance you mention. In our time, the local species had barely achieved interstellar travel. It seems much has progressed in our absence. Zara found herself in uncharted diplomatic territory. The alliance was formed 180 years ago, uniting 23 species in peaceful cooperation. We explore, share knowledge, and maintain stability across 17 sectors. Fascinating, and humanity's former territories. They were declared neutral zones after your disappearance. Some have been colonized by Alliance members. Others remain empty. There was another long pause, and Zora could almost sense the AI processing this information. When ATLS spoke again, there was something different in its tone, something that might have been determination. Captain Keth, I believe it would be beneficial for representatives of your alliance to come aboard the Eternal Sentinel. There is much we need to discuss before my crew awakens. Commander Thorne immediately objected. Captain, we have no idea what we're walking into. This could be an elaborate trap. But Dr. Voland was already preparing her equipment. Captain, this is the discovery of a lifetime. We have to take this opportunity. Zara looked at the massive human ship on their view screen, weighing the risks against the incredible possibilities. This encounter could change the course of galactic history, but it could also be walking into unknown danger. Atlas, we accept your invitation. We'll send a small diplomatic party. Excellent. Docking Bay 7 is being prepared for your arrival. I should warn you, Captain, the technology you will encounter aboard this vessel may seem quite advanced compared to current galactic standards. Humanity has not been idle during our time away. As preparations began for the historic meeting, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to witness something that would change everything. The humans were returning, and from the sound of it, they were bringing technologies and capabilities that the galaxy had never seen. The Eternal Sentinel waited in the darkness, its secrets about to be revealed. The Awakening Protocol. The airlock cycled with a soft hiss as Captain Zora Keth led her small diplomatic team aboard the human vessel. The interior of the Eternal Sentinel was a stark contrast to the utilitarian design of most Alliance ships. The corridors were wide and well-lit, with walls that seemed to pulse with a subtle energy. The air itself felt different, charged with an almost electric vitality. Dr. Nix Volan's crystalline body shifted through a spectrum of colors as she took readings with her portable scanner. Captain, the atmospheric composition is perfect for most Alliance species, but there's something else. The entire ship seems to be generating some form of bioharmonic field. It's actually quite soothing. Commander Rax Thorne kept his 4 hands close to his weapons, though he had agreed to keep them holstered. I don't like how quiet it is. A ship this size should have more ambient noise, more activity. Their footsteps echoed softly as Atlas guided them through corridors lined with what appeared to be observation windows. Through these windows, they could see vast chambers filled with rows upon rows of cryogenic pods, each one containing the sleeping human figure. The crew sections house our population during the long journey, Atlas explained through speakers embedded in the walls. We have found that extended space travel is more efficiently managed with the majority of personnel in suspended animation, while automated systems maintain ship operations. They entered a vast chamber that took Zora's breath away. The room stretched upward for at least 10 stories, with a central platform surrounded by holographic displays showing star charts, technical specifications, and data streams that moved too quickly for non-human eyes to follow. Welcome to the Primary Control Center, Atlas announced. This is where I coordinate all ship functions and maintain contact with the greater fleet. Dr. Voland moved closer to one of the holographic displays, her excitement evident in the rapid color changes across her body. The computational power required to generate these displays must be enormous. Atlas, how do you process so much information simultaneously? Human technology has advanced considerably during our time in Andromeda. We encountered several highly advanced civilizations and learned much about quantum computing, biological integration, and energy manipulation. I am not merely an artificial intelligence in the traditional sense. I am a hybrid consciousness, part artificial construct and part biological neural network. Before anyone could respond to this startling revelation, a new voice filled the chamber. This voice was unmistakably human, deep and authoritative, with the crisp diction of someone accustomed to command. Atlas, begin Revival Protocol Alpha 7. Bring the senior staff online. The AI responded immediately. Yes, Admiral Chen. Revival process initiated. Estimated time to full consciousness, 17 minutes. Zara looked around the chamber but saw no one. Where is Admiral Chen? I am here, Captain Keth. The voice seemed to come from all around them. I am currently in the command cryogenic suite, but my consciousness is already interfacing with ship systems. It's a technology we developed to allow command personnel to assess situations before full physical revival. Commander Thorne's tactical training kicked in. You can control the ship while still in suspended animation. Not control, exactly, but I can observe and communicate. It allows us to respond to situations without fully committing to revival, which takes considerable energy and time. The platform they stood on began to descend smoothly into the lower levels of the ship. As they moved, Zora could see through transparent sections that the vessel was coming alive around them. Lights flickered on in previously dark sections, systems hummed to life, and automated maintenance units scurried along the corridors like mechanical insects. The Eternal Sentinel is awakening, Atlas explained. She has been dormant for so long that bringing her fully online is like waking a sleeping giant. They arrived at what appeared to be a medical bay, but one unlike anything in Alliance space. The technology was seamlessly integrated into organic-looking surfaces, and the air itself seemed to shimmer with healing energies. Several cryogenic pods were already beginning their revival cycles, with human figures visible through their transparent covers. Dr. Voland approached one of the pods with scientific fascination. The revival process appears to be incredibly gentle. Our own cryogenic technology is far more traumatic to the subject's biological systems. We learned much about biological preservation from the ethereal healers of Andromeda, Atlas replied. Their techniques allowed us to maintain crew members in suspension for centuries without the cellular damage typically associated with such procedures. The first pod opened with a soft release of vapor, and a human figure sat up slowly. The woman appeared to be in her 30s, with dark skin and intelligent brown eyes. She moved with the careful precision of someone whose body was still remembering how to function after centuries of sleep. Status report, Atlas, she said, her voice slightly hoarse but growing stronger. All systems functional, Engineer Okafor. We have achieved successful contact with representatives of the Galactic Alliance. Sarah Okafor's eyes focused on the alien visitors, and she smiled with genuine warmth. Well, this is interesting. When we left, most species were barely beyond their own solar systems. She stood gracefully, showing no signs of the disorientation typically associated with cryogenic revival. Another pod opened, revealing a tall man with graying hair and kind eyes. Dr. James Riley, according to the identification on his pod, had been the expedition's chief biologist and diplomat. He took in the scene with the calm assessment of someone trained in first contact protocols. Captain Keth, he said, somehow knowing her rank and name without introduction, I apologize for the unusual circumstances of our meeting. It's been quite some time since we've had visitors. The largest pod in the center of the bay began its revival cycle, and Zara instinctively knew this would be Admiral Chen. As the cover retracted, a man in his 50s emerged, moving with the confident bearing of someone born to command. His black hair was streaked with silver, and his dark eyes held the depth of someone who had seen both wonders and horrors beyond imagination. Admiral Marcus Chen stood to his full height, which was impressive even by human standards, and surveyed the assembled group. His gaze lingered on each alien visitor, and Zara had the distinct impression that he was cataloging everything about them for future reference. Captain Keth, Dr. Voland. Commander Thorne, he said, again demonstrating that he somehow knew exactly who they were. "Welcome aboard the Eternal Sentinel. I am Admiral Marcus Chen, commanding officer of the Advanced Reconnaissance Division of the Human Exodus Fleet." Dr. Volan's crystalline form shifted to a deep purple, indicating intense curiosity. "Admiral, how do you know our names and ranks? We haven't provided that information." Chen smiled, and there was something both reassuring and slightly unsettling about his expression. "Dr. Voland, during our time in Andromeda, we encountered species with remarkable psychic abilities. We learned to integrate their gifts with our own technology. Atlas has been scanning your vessel and its crew since you first approached us." Commander Thorne's four hands moved instinctively toward his weapons before he caught himself. "Scanning us? Without permission. Standard protocol. Commander, we've learned to be cautious during first contact situations. However, I assure you that we detected no hostile intent from your crew." Engineer Okafor moved to a wall panel that responded to her touch, bringing up holographic displays that showed detailed schematics of the Curiosity's edge. "Your ship is quite impressive for current galactic technology. The fusion drive design is particularly elegant." Zara felt a chill run down her spine. These humans could apparently scan and analyze Alliance technology at will, and they spoke of it as if it were routine. "Admiral, what exactly is the Human Exodus Fleet?" Chen gestured, and the chamber around them transformed. The walls became transparent, revealing the vastness of space beyond, and holographic projections filled the air showing star maps, fleet formations, and technical specifications. "Captain, when humanity left this galaxy 247 years ago, we didn't just evacuate Earth. We relocated our entire civilization, 2.7 billion humans across 14,000 vessels. We've spent the last 2 centuries exploring Andromeda, establishing colonies, and learning from civilizations far more advanced than anything this galaxy has ever produced." The holographic display showed the formation of the Human Exodus Fleet, with thousands of ships of various sizes and configurations. Some were clearly colony vessels, others were research platforms, and many were obviously military craft that dwarfed anything in the Alliance arsenal. Dr. Rayleigh stepped forward, his diplomat's training evident in his calm demeanor. "We didn't come back to conquer or colonize, Captain Keth. We came back to reconnect with our origins and to share what we've learned. However, we also came back to reclaim what was ours. The former human territories," Zura said, understanding dawning. Among other things, Admiral Chen confirmed, "We've been monitoring galactic communications for the past 6 months. We know about the Alliance, about the colonies that have been established in our former systems, about the political situation. We've been preparing for our return very carefully." Commander Thorne could no longer contain his military instincts. "How many ships are we talking about, Admiral?" Chen's smile became predatory. "The advanced fleet consists of 847 vessels, Commander. We represent the diplomatic mission. The main fleet is approximately 6 months behind us." The implications hit Zora like a physical blow. If this massive ship was just part of an advanced diplomatic mission, what did that say about the size and capabilities of the main fleet? Engineer Okafor touched another panel, and the chamber filled with images of incredible technologies. Cities that floated in space, energy beings that communicated through light, machines that could manipulate matter at the molecular level. "We've learned so much," she said with obvious pride. "Humanity has evolved, Captain Keth. We're not the same species that left this galaxy centuries ago." Dr. Volan's crystalline body was cycling through colors so rapidly it was difficult to focus on her. "The scientific implications are staggering. You're describing technologies that current galactic science considers impossible." "Impossible is a word we've learned to avoid," Dr. Rayleigh said gently. "We've seen too many impossible things become routine." Admiral Chen moved to the center of the chamber, and his presence seemed to command attention from every being present, human and alien alike. "Captain Keth, I'm going to be direct with you. Humanity is returning to this galaxy. We're not asking permission, and we're not negotiating for our former territories. We're simply informing the current inhabitants of our intentions." The silence that followed was profound. Zara felt the weight of history pressing down on her as she realized she was witnessing a moment that would reshape galactic civilization. However, Chen continued, "We're not unreasonable. We're willing to work with the Alliance, to share our knowledge and technologies, to find peaceful solutions to territorial disputes. But make no mistake, the age of humanity hiding in the shadows is over." Atlas's voice filled the chamber. "Admiral, we're receiving communication requests from 17 Alliance vessels. Word of our presence is spreading." Chen nodded. "Open channels, Atlas. It's time for humanity to announce its return to the galaxy." As communication systems activated and the chamber filled with incoming transmissions from across Alliance space, Zara realized that the quiet age of galactic exploration was ending. Humanity had returned, evolved and powerful, ready to reclaim its place among the stars. The question now was whether the galaxy was ready for them. Admiral Chen looked directly at Zara, and in his eyes, she saw the determination of an entire species that had spent centuries preparing for this moment. "Captain Keth, welcome to the new age of human expansion. I hope your alliance is prepared for what comes next." The Eternal Sentinel hummed with power as more systems came online, and in the distance, space itself began to shimmer as more human vessels decloaked from their stealth systems. The humans had indeed returned, and they were no longer the primitive species that had vanished centuries ago. They had become something far more formidable, and the galaxy would never be the same.